guys, Jordy here from Premiere Basics, and look at this beautiful yellow jacket. Wow. Now, unfortunately, the colors in this video look completely different from this shot. So, I hope you know how to fix that. Oh yeah, I'm supposed to show you guys. Well, I actually do have a very neat trick up my sleeve. Something so revolutionary, something that you've never heard before. So let's light up Premiere and fire it up. Well, we need to match these two shots with each other, but why Jordy? Well, sometimes we're just using two cameras, for example, when we want to film multiple angles of the same person. Different cameras have a different color interpretation. That's why the video looks different, and wow, that were a lot of difference. Anyways, that's why we need to color match. Now, to start off, head over to the window menu and on top click on Lumetri Color. Expand the color wheels and match tab, then go over to the comparison view and just click on that. Or you can also open up the button editor from the program monitor and add the comparison view knob to the controls. Now you can see two previews side by side. With the slider on the left, you can scrub through your video timeline and choose the reference clip. The video on the right is going to be the shot that you want to match, which you can select by dragging the playhead from the timeline on the top of the video. Then with these three buttons, you can choose the type of comparison. You can have them next to each other, vertical split screen or horizontal split screen. And by dragging this line in between, you can decide how much you want to see from the reference clip or the current video. Now with the swap sides button, you can obviously swap the sides of your video and the reference. Alright, we got that out of the way. Now to color match the videos, we're going to take a look at a few important elements, which are contrast, white balance, skin tones, and finally prominent colors. To white balance the video, click on the color picker and find a spot that is supposed to be white in your video. As you can see, this already removes that magenta. But I think it's a little bit overdone, so we're gonna bring it back just a tiny bit by dragging the tint slider to the right. Also add a small amount of orange using the temperature slider to match the white balances even more. So even though that you're using the color picker to do the white balance, you always need to adjust a tiny bit. You know, kind of like steer Premiere in the right direction. Alright, next up we're going to match the contrast, and for that we're gonna use an awesome tool. Behold the Lumetri scopes. Open it up by going to the window menu and clicking on it. Now right click on the scopes and make sure that the waveform is enabled. Then right click again and set the waveform type to Luma. Now these scopes will only show the contrast of your videos. You know, the shadows, the highlights, the midtones, and where everything is at. But Jordy, I don't understand how these scopes work. Well, don't worry. Well, here on the side you can see these numbers, which are basically percentages. Here we can see all of the blacks or the shadows. And as we go up in that graph, we're going more towards the midtones and finally the highlights. And on the top, we have the whites, which is 100%. And it currently displays the two videos that we have in the comparison view. So if you were to change this line here in the program monitor, you can also see that scope changing in the Lumetri scopes. So to match both videos, you can play around with the contrast slider until both of the graphs are similar to each other. And if necessary, you can also use the other controls as well, like the shadows or the blacks or the highlights or the whites. Now sometimes I'm kind of like missing a sort of a mid-tone control. Well, that is something that you can find under the color wheels. So simply just increase or decrease the midtones control from there. Next, I want to show you guys an amazing trick to match the actual colors of your video. Probably something that you've never seen before, but first, I want to show you something else. For many years, I've been looking up to a plugin for Premiere called Cinemagrade. It was only available for Mac, but recently they have a Windows version as well, which I am super happy about. Now, they are sponsoring this video, however, I would recommend their plugin regardless. So after installing, all you need to do is drag the Cinemagrade effect onto the clips that you want to grade. Then go to the effects controls and underneath the Cinemagrade effect, just click on open controls. This color grading plugin contains everything you need. It has so many features, more than Lumetri. Still, the plugin is really user-friendly and easy to use. You can quickly achieve a cinematic look without the steep learning curve of other traditional color grading tools. Now, the whole idea behind Cinemagrade is that you visually correct or grade your footage. You have a bunch of tools on top, ideally you use shortcuts of course, and then you just simply click and drag on your video to change that. There are built-in scopes, which we know how important they are. You also have the ability to click and drag on shadows and or highlights to recover them. And using the vector tool, you can quickly change someone's skin tones or change the color of a car, and all of this without having to use an HSL property or do complex masking or whatever. Now, if you want to match two or more shots with each other, you can also do that by opening up the shot matching tab and selecting all of the videos that you want to match with each other. On the left, you can see your reference video, and on the right, you can use the same controls to match match the clips together. This plugin also shows a preview of presets and LUTs in real time, which will make it easier to decide which one you want to use. And because we've been friends for so many years now, they decided to give you guys the coupon code Premier Basics to get 20% off, or you can just simply click in the description down below. I highly recommend that you check it out, guys. I'm also going to leave a link to their YouTube channel if you want to learn more about color grading in general. They post a whole bunch of tutorials, so definitely check that out. All right, now let's get back to color matching with Lumetri. Next, we're going to open up the vector scope by right-clicking and selecting it. Also, make sure that RGB is selected because now we're going to adapt the hue and saturation. Johnny, please, I don't know what the vector scope is. Well, don't worry, let me explain to you. Here you can see the color spectrum, so basically all of the colors. Now, these two highlights are both of your videos. The direction of the graph shows you the color it leans against. So the further out the highlight, the more saturated those colors will be. First, we're going to select the skin tones using the HSL secondary. I prefer that over the color curves because it gives you more control. Select the color picker and click somewhere on the face of the person. With the inner triangle, you can select the color range of your video. With the outer triangle, you can define the feather of the selection. Adjust the hue, saturation, and lightness until the skin tones are completely selected. Now add a bit of denoise and blur to the color selection. That will prevent your colors from pixelating. And now we want both of these highlights to align with each other, and for that, we're going to use something that I call the circle technique. Click on the new item button and select color matte. Make sure it's black, then click OK and drag it on top of your clips. Go to the effect browser and look for the circle effect, then drag that onto the color matte. Head over to the effects controls and set the position of the circle on the skin of the right video. Now set the blending mode to stencil alpha and also click on the invert circle checkbox and copy and paste the effect and do the same thing for the left video. And now we have the skin tones of both videos isolated and only those colors are seen through the scopes. And as you can see, the skin tones need to lean more against yellow. So to do that, push some more yellow into the video using the color wheel. Now, if needed, you can increase or decrease the saturation to match it with your other clip as well. Next, you want to search for prominent colors in your video. For example, the woman's jackets. Now, you can do that by the exact same technique as with the skin tones. Create a new Lumetri color and make a selection of the color that you want to match. Then simply match it using the color wheels and voila. Now, the Lumetri scopes have so much more use cases. I explain every detail that you need to know in this video here on my left. So thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to check out Cinemagrade, and as always, stay creative.